Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast, man. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better, you slept on your Wheaties. I got it together, you fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, mad.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Welcome to the makings of a madman. Mad men get shit done, it's a passion. Has-beens can't get close to my lab, man. Since I stopped feeding these suckers, they fast. And this is the reason that I move so fast. Rewrote the story and threw out the cast. Fuck all the credit, man, I want the cash. I am the running man, you in the past. Too far ahead of you, you cannot see me. I'm stronger and better, you slept on your Wheaties. I got it together, you fall into pieces. I should be calling you Reese's. It should be illegal to teach this, but somebody dared me to do it. So I said, well, damn, I'ma do it. That somebody was me, mad. Welcome back to Sunday Sessions, everyone. It's so good to see so many of you already in the chat. I see some of you got in here early. Some of you are catching us for the first time. And look, you're in right on time to go ahead and share this with somebody else to make sure they catch some of this conversation as well. I hope y'all are having a wonderful weekend. This has been an incredibly busy week for your boy. I pushed out 4 videos this week, and I think I'm going to do the same thing next week. I'm in one of those modes right now. Beast mode, madman mode, whatever you want to call it. I'm there right now. So I'm going to be pumping out content like crazy between now and October, especially as we're building for our launching what may be our first official Bridge City campus in Southern California. So we're going to see, and y'all just stay tuned about that. All right, so listen, welcome to Sunday Sessions. My name is Darante LaMar, for those of you who've never been in here before, and I host these weekly conversations as a touch point for connection, inspiration, and personal growth. Now, I'm currently working on an audacious mission to, launch communities literally everywhere I can that host weekly conversations just like these in an environment that is free of superstition or coercion. So I show up every Sunday for 3 reasons. Number 1, to host a conversation that helps, heals, or hits on something important to our community. Number 2, to create community, to create community and opportunity for people to gather, connect, and support each other. And then number 3, and this is a big one for me, to spark a fire in others who have a passion for speaking, organizing, and a professional interest in community leadership and personal development. My goal is to get people excited about the idea of being a better way to connect by building community without superstition. So listen, today's conversation may feel like church at times. There will be no appeals to doctrines or anything that cannot be demonstrated as dependable information. At no point will you be asked to confess your sins or pick a savior. Instead, you will be encouraged to learn, laugh, and love freely while giving others the grace to do the same. We are building something absolutely world-changing here. And if this is your first time, welcome in. Let us know you're new so that our community can show you some love in the chat. Are y'all ready for part 5 of This Is Kind of a Big Deal? We've been in this series now. This is the 5th week, man. This is the 5th week. This has become one of my favorite. No, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This has become, y'all, listen, This has become my favorite series so far out of all the series we've done. And we've been doing this we've been doing this for a little bit over a year now, right? We've been doing this for a little bit over a year now. We've done a lot of series. We had Drive, which was really good. We had How to Human, which was definitely one of my tops. We started this with what was it? The Thesis of Secular Community, which I thought was incredible. So we've done so many, but man, so far, this is kind of a big deal, has been my favorite. It's in this one that I've really felt, and I'm sure y'all have seen it. I felt like preaching in this one just the whole time. And I don't think today is going to be any different. If y'all have enjoyed this series of conversations, if this conversation has meant anything to you, please let me know in the chat. And don't feel bad about coming back and letting us know in the comments too. That's how you keep that fire going. All right, so let's jump into this. Today's conversation's title is An Ounce of Action, and it comes from a very, very popular quote. It says, an ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. Don't be too timid and squeamish about your actions. Now, this quote is often attributed to Ralph Waldo Emerson. However, only the B clause originates with Ralph. The beginning of the quote actually comes from Jared Elliott, whose original idea emphasizes that experience and direct application often outweigh theoretical knowledge. Emerson's admonition about not being timid complements this by urging people to act boldly, making his work a fitting companion to the earlier sentiment, even if they're unrelated in origin. So the big point is, and you've heard me champion this on this channel, especially in our Sunday sessions, but whatever you're claiming to know, what are you doing with it? Let me say that again. Can I run that? The big point is, whatever it is that you are claiming to know, what are you doing with it? If it hasn't convinced you to do something, why should it convince me? One of my former mentors ended up being a highly controversial figure at the end of his life due to some public allegations that I have no credible insight into, so I won't speak into that. However, among the many reasons that I valued him as a mentor was the way that he had a way of communicating concern and the responsibility of community to be a present service and a solution. I'll never forget a service where in the middle of his message, he admonished his 25,000 member community to make that shunda hunda mean something when my husband is knocking me upside my head after church, to make it mean something when my children have nothing to eat. And I was still a very young minister at that time, likely around 18 or 19 years old. But I remember being deeply emotionally impacted by that moment, by the moment that followed those words, because the point of that Sunday experience, a gathering ground for those who actually wanted to do something about real everyday problems. That represented a shift in me, just me thinking about who I was. That's why I wanted to be a preacher, not just to, talk about magic, but to actually make a difference. And so the way he framed it was, and I fell in love with it, the show is an effective entrance, but it's the substance and the support that actually makes the difference. Like, I get it. You're getting your rocks off right now, and that's fun, but how does this help? I get it. You're having a good time. You running around the room. The music is vibing. The message is making you feel good. You're getting all that good dopamine rush and that adrenaline rush, and you're feeling good. But at the end of the day, I don't care how good this feels, we got to wrestle with the question. How does this help? We should be constantly challenging ourselves with this question. How does this help? All right, how does this help? As a pastor, when I deconverted, I wanted to go to everyone I knew and just yell from the mountaintops that none of this was reliable. But the question I had to wrestle with as someone who was not just concerned with truth, but also concerned with the aftermath, the consequences of people knowing this truth. So it became, how does that help? I think about the allegory of the cave and the extreme discomfort that a person has to go through to transition from one illusion to another illusion to another illusion to finally get some type of truth. And the thing that I begin to wonder is, am I going to open that door for them and then just leave them alone while they walk through it and I just go deal with life? No. Okay, I can give you the information, but how does it help? And so y'all know I've been saying it this whole series. I spent an entire decade trying to figure out how to help. Taking away people's illusions without a support system for them to transition through is wild work, man. No, make that evolutionary theory mean something. Hashtag keep rising. Make the absence of an interventionist deity mean something. Make logic, reason, and utility mean something. If your whole contribution to the conversation is who's wrong, then you've likely never spent any time working on what's right. And that's where I spend my time. We spend a lot of time trying to make things perfect, making excuses, getting permission, and just thinking too much all around. It's good to be prepared and to have a well thought out plan, but not at the cost of exhausting yourself before you have a chance to take action. This is actually one of the reasons I am so effective, because I don't need anything to be perfect. There are things I'll be stressing about, like today. I started my notes Friday. I didn't finish them until this morning, probably about an hour before start time. And then I said, Darante, you need to refresh the intro and the outro. You've been saying the same thing for a few weeks. People gonna start talking about you after a while. But then I also said, no, I really don't have that time right now. And I'm gonna stress myself out trying to add that and not get a break away from my desk. And that's not healthy. So nope, they're just gonna have to deal with the same intro today. No, yeah. So let me just read that out again. Let me read it out again, just so you understand. We spend a lot of time trying to make things perfect, making excuses, getting permission, and just thinking too much. It's good to be prepared. It's good to have a plan. It's good for things to be well thought out. It's good to know how things are supposed to go, but not at the cost of you exhausting yourself before you even have a chance to take action. If our websites were perfect, I would not be able to get done as much as I get done, because, by the way, I build all the websites. So I build the websites, and there's a lot of shit wrong with them websites. And I say it's just going to have to be wrong with them until we get somebody else on the team who builds the website. But I'm going to do everything that I can do. Is this good, y'all? I'm going to do everything that I can do. The things that I have expertise in, that's where I stress. Oh, that's good. The areas of my expertise, that's where I allow myself to stress. I don't allow myself to stress about my camera quality, my lighting quality, any of that. I don't have expertise there. I have experience, but I don't have expertise there. No, it's better to make mistakes and seek forgiveness than to endlessly prepare. You learn by doing, not by thinking about doing. Just get it done, okay? Well, if people see this is wrong, then they might not come back. Then they ain't the ones for right now. hmm Is this good, y'all? Is this good? See, you got all this theory, but what can it do? How can you use it to help anyone? See, we are reclaiming intelligence, not based on what it claims, but based on what it does. Show me what you can do with all of that knowledge that you claim to have. Turn that theory into action. Knowledge shouldn't just change what we claim, it should challenge how we build. Knowledge is what knowledge does. Y'all better talk to me out there. I had to call Forrest Gump for that one. Knowledge is what knowledge does. Yes, it is. It is. Knowledge is what knowledge does. It should not just change what we claim. It should challenge how we build. That's the utility of knowing something. The utility of knowing something is being able to do something about it. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you know so much, why do you seem to care so little? That's the question that the world is asking of the secular community. That's the question that the world is asking of intelligence. It's the question the world is asking of critical thinkers. If you know so much, why do you seem to care so little? Is your whole gig just to sit on the sideline and say, see, I told you? Or is there some point where you actually start building a better way? What kind of useless ass Noah are you to see the coming flood but not lift a finger to build a fucking boat? Knowledge is what knowledge does. What are you doing with it? Man, y'all better talk back to me in that chat. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Don't get so good at calling out what others should be doing that you become separated from what you should be doing. Doing is the only way to test your theory. You know, Many times, especially in the earlier days, we'd have people jump in the live chat and say, what we should be doing is this, what we should be doing is this, and what we should be doing is this. And I'd always say, okay, show me where you're testing that at. Show me where you're practicing that at. What you hear me saying is, watch this, watch this. What you hear me saying is that we should be doing community. You hear me saying that. And you don't just hear me saying that, you see me showing up every Sunday modeling it. And you don't just see me modeling that, you see me building the websites where people can connect. And you don't just see me building the websites, but you see me navigating through the thousands of people that we have to find just a handful of folk who are willing to do something about it. Y'all better talk to me in the chat. Preach to me, chat. What can I do? The number one question I get as a leader of an emerging global movement and representation of an emerging category is, how can I help? Or what can I do? I'm going to tell you something that no one else has really the understanding to tell you. That is a slippery slope to losing yourself. Okay? When you lead with, how can I help? What can I do? I don't think anybody's ever said this before. I bet you've never heard anybody said this before. I don't think you've ever heard anybody say this before. And if you have, please tell me who they are, because I'd love to know. I'd love to know. But when you lead with, how can I help? What can I do? It is a slippery slope to losing yourself. Resist the paradigm where other people define how you help. Damn, that's good. Damn, that's good. I wish somebody would have told me this when I was younger. Resist the paradigm where other people define how you help. You know? And beyond that, if you ever ask me this question, especially like in chat, text message, I'm probably going to leave that on. I'm probably going to leave that message on unread. You know, watch this. Here it is. I don't know how you help. Oh, this is good. I don't know. I wish I could see y'all. I wish I was there with y'all. I wish we were in the room together, because I want to look at you. I don't know how you help. There are things that people don't like when I say, but I'll say it, you know. So certain people will be, you know, that they maybe they've been watching the channel and they'll come in the chat and they'll say, hey, I'm such and such. And I will say, oh, I don't know you. You know, it's like, but I don't know you. We don't know each other yet. You don't know me. You know some of my ideas. You know the part of me that I package and get all cute for this, but you don't really know me. I'm very careful with that word "no." It means something to me. It means something to me. And so watch this. I expect you to know you better than I could ever know you. See, I don't know how you help. Okay. But so when you show up, oh damn. So when you show up, you should already know how you help. You should already know how you help. You should show up with, this is how I help. This is what I do. Otherwise, you're going to run the risk of somebody else putting a label on who you are. You're going to run the risk of someone else creating misalignment for your life. You're going to run the risk of creating unnecessary friction with other people, because you're now in something that's not even how you like to help. And the reason this has happened is because life has robbed so many of us of agency, that in every room we show up in, we show up to be defined by somebody else. We show up waiting for someone else to recognize who we are, affirm who we are, and tell us that we did a job and tell us what they see in us. But what I really want to do is to build the type of community where you have the safety and the tools to name yourself, to figure out who you are, to figure out how you want to help, to have that space and say, look, I don't want to touch nothing yet. Just give me a little time. I just got here. I'm still trying to figure myself out, because life has put me through so much bullshit. I honestly don't even know how to help. If I did, I'd probably be helping myself a lot better than I am. Am I preaching or what? And so the truth is, most of us don't know how we help, and it is so okay and freeing just to say that, to just to manifest those words. I don't know how I help. Oh man, this is good. In today's conversation, I want to introduce something helpful in maintaining agency while being a part of a community, okay? If we're treating this like it's kind of a big deal, let's hypothesize a framework for maximizing this moment. If you find yourself in a big deal moment, I want to give you 4 ideas that you can engage to navigate. And shameless plug, yes, this is also insight into how I'm currently approaching our Bridge City local community strategy. All right, so let's start here. Let's start with discover. All right, discover. We're going to start at the discover phase. What's on the menu? Engagement. I mentioned this last week, and it hit me so hard that I had to bring it back. You don't know what to eat until you know what's on the menu. Okay. I think I told y'all last week, like when my wife and I first got married, she'd always ask me what I want to eat. And I'm really particular with words. And it will drive most people crazy. And that's why I want to say most people think they would love being around me. I'm like, I don't think you would. You'd be trying to ask me some simple ass questions, and I'll turn to Jordan Peterson on your ass. What does it mean to want? But no, she'd be like, babe, what you want to eat tonight? And I'd be like, what I want really don't matter. Like if I if I want it, like just I don't know, steak and eggs. Like we probably got the eggs, but we ain't got the steak. So watch this. You don't know what to eat until you know what's on the menu. So right now, our Southern California community has been in this phase. They're interacting with each other in engagement-based environments that allow each of them to discover what's on the menu through each other. Like you don't so when you show up in a group, and this for everybody, when you show up in a group that's brand new, and hey, we brand spanking new, you show up in a group, I don't care what you heard me advertise. You don't know what's on the menu until you know what's in the room. So they can be like, no, Darante said Bridge City is going to have music. They're going to have music. Well, if there's not a musician in that room, y'all ain't got music yet. That's how you learn what's on the menu. Now, this is good. Now, this is better than just planning communities. This is like good stuff right now, because some of y'all are in relationships expecting to get stuff that is clearly not on the menu. Damn, we could have turned this into a whole relationship summit right now. You are losing your mind because what you want is not on the menu. All right, this is so much better than I thought. This is so much better than I thought it was going to be, because the menu metaphor reminds us that everything isn't for everybody. There's going to be stuff on the menu that doesn't resonate with you. But just because it's on the menu doesn't mean it has to be on your plate. That is so good. Darante, you preaching, boy. I know. Just because it's on the menu doesn't mean it has to be on your plate. Now, it needs to make it to somebody's plate, goddammit. You're going to have to eat up in here, but it doesn't need to be on your plate. Now, that's a really healthy way to approach a community organization, period, because you see the community, and you see all these different things. And again, certain things may not float your boat, but don't feel pressure to say, oh, well, if I'm here, I have to put all of that on my plate. That's the stuff we're resisting. We are resisting that cult-like culture where we all have to get along to go along. We are, damn, y'all are going to get this, man. Everything on the menu doesn't have to be on your plate. All right? It has to be on somebody's plate, but it doesn't have to be on yours. Focus more. Oh, this is about to be gold. Focus more on your consumption than your rejection. Community as a holistic solution needs to be cultivated to meet the needs of many, not a few, many. In that regard, it is a buffet. Okay, so come in and look for what you eat. All right, come in, look for what you eat, and then look over what you do not, unless it's poison. If it's poison, say, hey, somebody got some poison on the menu, and y'all might want to do something about that shit. That's not going to be good. But other than that, focus on your consumption, not your rejection. Let me make this make sense. I have a lot of dietary aversions. I mean, man, I have a lot of dietary aversions that makes accommodating for my food needs quite comedic. Like I can't eat onions, I can't eat lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, coconuts, and a long list of other things. It's an issue with my esophagus. Now, if I made my personal issue the standard of suitability for everybody else at the table, the menu could never represent everyone in the room. Do y'all understand that? You understand that? And that's sometimes we make sometimes we make the mistake of trying to put our standards on other people. All right. So I want to help you here. Okay. The only things we share are the things we agree to share. All right. This is why I always tell people when people come up to me and they're like, I found out such and such thinks like such and such. And I'm like, had y'all ever had a conversation about it before? And they're like, no. So why are you surprised that they thought something? You know, I know, but they thought this. Yeah, you are aware that people think like that, right? Like, so the odds of somebody you know who thinks something that you don't like is really, really high. And y'all know me. I run everything by a utility check, right? Is it something that I don't like or is it poisonous? That's why I love that buffet, right? Because when I'm at the buffet, you just heard, I can't eat onions, I can't eat lettuce, I can't eat carrots, I can't eat coconut, I can't eat tomatoes, I can't eat cucumbers, I can eat pickles, but I can't eat sweet pickles. Something with my esophagus. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I said, hey, y'all are selling cucumbers in here, and I can't eat those, so y'all need to get rid of the cucumbers or shut down. That makes no sense. Oh man. Like, and that's often the hard part of community because you're trying to treat your aversions like other people's standards. I just, is it something that I don't like or is it something that's actually toxic? Okay, now if it's toxic, we got to do something about it. But if it's just something I don't like, so when you see something on the menu that doesn't make your taste buds salivate, please keep in mind that there are other people's appetites to consider. Like, I'm doing my best to create something that moves beyond the labels that we have superimposed on the human experience. But in order to do that, we're going to need more people who are committed to not only exploring what's on the menu, but who possess the type of understanding of how it feeds someone different than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I get that I'm never, ever going to be able to enjoy that potato salad the way that y'all enjoy it because I can't eat relish. I get it. But I do understand why other people like it. No. I get, man. Some people are gonna see me when I go over there to the crab legs or the lamb chops, and they're gonna say, "Now look at him. He just eating meat." God damn. And I'm sorry, I'm salivating while thinking about it. I got a problem. You got to help me. I got a problem. But then somebody else is going to look at that meat and say, "Oh, I can't eat that. That was living at one point. I don't want anything to do with that." And they're going to go and find something else. Some people are here for community. Some people are here for critical thinking. Hell, some people are just here for the chronic. But either way, we're all here. And that's what I want to champion. I want to champion the crowd of people who, for them, that's enough. I want to challenge. I want to challenge the crowd of people who say, if you're here, that's enough reason to celebrate. That's enough reason to cooperate. That's enough reason to collaborate. That's enough reason for me to consider you, for me to have compassion for you, for me to try to have some comprehension of where you are and why you're there. Listen, I am honestly trying to create over-the-top experiences that celebrate humanity in ways that inspire us to our highest elevations, to our highest potential and capacity. I want our sessions to have that collective effervescence that Emil Durkheim termed. This is a word that he used to coin that shared emotional high. I want our sessions, our events, our moments, hell, our services to be full of high energy, for it to be a safe space where people belong and thrive. I want it to feel like Disney World combined with group therapy, imaginative, joyful, and healing all at once. I want Bridge City Global to have the most exceptional people experience on this planet. That when you step foot on any campus, anywhere, whether you are a member or a guest, I want you to feel like you're on top of the world. This is kind of a big deal. When you're in a moment, are you trying to discover or define? Man, are you trying to discover or are you trying to define? Let go of that religious baggage of naming things you don't know. I'm going to have to get some Gatorade on that. Yep. Okay. Let go of the religious baggage of naming things you don't know. You're not Adam. This is so good. This is so good. See, you can be deconstructed for several years. You could have never been a religious person, but if you grew up in an area that has been so saturated with these Abrahamic myths, some of that stuff seeps into how you treat the world. And many of you, many of us, let me not make it that way, many of us make the mistake of trying to name things we don't know, and that's the religious baggage of Adam. Can you give people the freedom to name themselves? Can you give people the freedom to tell you who they are? Can you resist the urge to naming things you don't know? You out here like Adam. Okay, that's gonna be a dog. That's gonna be a cat. Like, let's stop that, because this overflows in how we treat people. This overflows and how we I know what type. Oh, they got an earring on. I know what type of person they are. No, you don't. Oh, they got tattoos. I know what type of person they are. No, you don't. Oh, they dyed their hair. I know what type of person they are. The only thing you know is that they're the type of person who dyed their hair. You don't even know if they the one that dyed it. You don't know if somebody dyed it in their sleep. You don't know. So don't skip discovery to get to definition. Definition requires discovery as a prerequisite. This is how I treat everybody. This is how I try to treat everybody in my life. I try to treat everybody in my life like, you got to tell me who you are. I don't get to name you. And if I do, it's going to be wrong. I promise you. I'm a fiction author, so making up characters' names is something I do all the time. Actually, for 1 year in school, I went by the name Frederick Hermes. For another year in school, I went by the name Kenneth Taylor. I just did stuff to see if I could do it. Social experiment. You know what I'm saying? Social experiment. Thank you. Thank you for that love offering. Thank you for that seed. Thank you so much for your gift, Mixtrix Monica. I love that name. Thank you, Brother Darante. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That always puts a smile on my face. Listen, y'all, and I'll just say it since I'm here. Your financial support goes a long way. You have, damn it, I got to do this. You have such a, whatever you can give, your support goes such a long way. We are in the middle of a moment, and it is kind of a big deal. I have several colleges that are asking me to come speak at their universities, and they don't actually have the budget to be able to get me out there. It's your support that's allowing me to be able to do things like that, or even to consider doing those things. It's your support that's allowing us to be able to launch this campus in Bridge City, Southern California. You know what I'm saying? It's your support that allows me to continue staying in front of this camera, putting as much information and much content out as I can. And so whether it's $5, $50, $500, it always makes a difference. And so I did want to say thank you all for that, and I appreciate it so much. We're going to change the world together. Back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, so are you trying to figure it out or pretend like you already know? Right? Are you trying to figure it out or pretend like you already know? We experience reality, or I'll speak for me. I experience reality through the lived experience of others. Me understanding you empowers my understanding of me. That's such a powerful statement to me. Me understanding you empowers my understanding of me. I learn so much about myself through other people's stories. I remember that there's a guy that I call my brother. We used to do music together. He was my MD when I pastored for a while, and one hell of a cook, man. Anytime he comes to the house, we try to get him to cook. But meeting him gave me such a clearer understanding of my life. I'm using him because he was one of my people, man. Excuse me. But meeting him, because he had a very similar life as mine, grew up somewhat as an orphan, but he didn't know his mother or his father and had never met them. Like, he just met them within the last decade, and he's a little older than I am. And he had never met them before. And he was raised by, a woman that, of course, he loves with his whole heart. But I would look at his life and learn so much about my own sense of empathy, and learn something like, man, damn, After all the shit I done been through and survived and had to deal with as a child, I'm hearing his story and damn near in tears myself. Like, I learned so much about myself. Hey, damn, Darante, that touched you, didn't it? Yeah, it did. It did. I learned so much about myself through other people. This is why media is so powerful, because we're learning about ourselves. You ever laughed at some shit that you didn't expect to laugh at? You watching something? You know, I did not expect that to be funny. And then it's like, oh, you just learned something about yourself. When we isolate ourselves from the preferences of others, we turn a blind eye to reality itself. A movement that is indeed for everybody must indeed consider the needs of everybody. Discovery is where we test our mettle. It's why most people never make it through their big deal moments, because they are not curious enough to discover. You know, like what should I be trying to discover? What's on the menu? What's on the menu? What's actually in the room? What do we actually have the capacity to do right now? Like, when you're a part of a movement in flux, you have to learn how to update your realism in real time. Okay. If there are only 3 people in the room, the menu is likely limited. All right. You got to update your realism in real time. Huh. If there's only 3 people in the room, the menu is likely limited. That's not buffet season. You on the way, but you're not quite there yet. We're not at buffet season. It's a convenience store at that moment. The menu here is not yet about what you crave. It's about what's convenient. Oh, damn, I just slipped up in something. Okay. So listen. The goal is to have a buffet. Okay. The goal is to have a buffet. All right. But we're building. We just got here. This thing is brand new. I know there's 60,000 of us apparently, but we just got here. This is brand new. The goal is to be a buffet. But when you're starting, you have to update your realism in real time. And if it's only 2 or 3 people there, I'm gonna have to pull something from the church days. Please don't despise your small beginnings. It's not a buffet yet, so it's not going to be able to feed cravings. But this is a great place to start focusing on convenience. It's not about what you crave, it's about what's convenient. So let's make it make sense. I crave a weekend Sunday session experience that includes a full band and a team of singers that are fully integrated into the entire experience. Oh my goodness, I crave it. Oh man, like right now, if there was someone on the keys or the organs or the pads or the strings, if there was someone tingling them chimes, you know what I'm saying? Give me them on the splash and the cymbals, give me that ride. You know, if there's someone dropping a bass line at a good moment, if there's someone, okay, I'm getting too happy. I crave this. I love this. A major part of who I am is absolutely performative, and I'm not giving that up for nobody. I want to create absolutely dynamic cinematic experiences that people can feel like they can fully immerse themselves into. Oh, that's what I crave. But y'all know good and well that's not convenient right now. That's not convenient. And I don't have the superpower that I had in church. There was a superpower that I had when I was a Christian pastor. Okay. There's a superpower you get when you are a Christian leader. And that superpower is you get to convince people to do shit that's really costly for free. That's the superpower. Oh my goodness. You loved it. You loved it. On this side of of that, to me, that's just not ethical. It's not ethical. So it's not convenient. Because, man, if I really want that and I want good musicians, then I'm going to have to pay them like they're good musicians. I'm going to have to pay them that like I value their gift, their skill. Like I value the time it took to put it to craft and hone that talent. Like I value the contribution that it brings to the weekend experience. Like I value how it uplifts the entire community. We no longer have that superpower that allowed us to turn people into slaves. Because that's what it was. You could tell people, well, you should just be doing it from your heart. I don't even know how to do that. I don't know how to do anything from my heart. Okay. I don't know who's ever done that before, but I've never done anything with my heart but breathe. It just pumps blood. That, you know, psh, psh, I can't do nothing with my heart. If I'm doing something with my heart, I am doing too damn much. Okay. So no, you don't do it with your heart. You don't do it from your heart. When things cost that much time, you honor people's time. I hope somebody gets that out there. So as much as I crave that, and I do, oh man, it's on the future menu. Like it's on the coming soon. You know, how sometimes you go to Applebee's and they got a little spot on the menu and they say, month, don't miss these. It's like that. It's like that. It's gonna be on the menu one day. It's just not convenient right now. So when will it be on the menu? When it's convenient. When we know that we can honor people's time, you know, when it's convenient. Is that good? It's not in the room. It's not in the room yet. Now that doesn't mean I leave the room. It means that the room is still in development. And so while I cannot get what I crave yet, I hope this is helping somebody. I still know that I gotta eat. So I don't have the band yet, but I'll go sit at my keyboard every now and then and belt out a song for a Sunday session, as y'all have seen me done. Or I'll grab a video of someone else singing, risking my monetization, by the way, to conveniently add a little extra to the session so that even though it's not on the menu yet, people know that it's coming. You know, maybe you crave like a financial self-help group. That would be incredible. Just as incredible as my full band craving. Well, now that I think about it, your craving may be more practically beneficial. But if there's only 5 people in the room, that's likely not on the menu yet. So discovery is about identifying what is on the menu that's convenient for you now and what you crave to be on the menu later. So that's the discovery phase. Let's talk about learning. All right. So discovery is really about how I engage with something. Learning. Okay. So let's do it this way. You're in your moment. You've recognized that where you are or what you're doing is kind of a big deal. And now you've done the work of discovery to figure out what's on the menu. Now, so for Bridge City Global members who are realizing that this is kind of a big deal, I mean, that's why we're having this conversation. Your discovery phase should include what? How would you find out what's on the menu at Bridge City Global? A good starting place are these Sunday sessions. I seed so much vision into these talks so that the people who are paying attention can see the picture. Another place is our website, bridge.dldd.us. It has our purpose, our mission and vision statement, and even a map of where people are tapping in from. And y'all really need to be looking at that map. It's dope. And the best place, and Robert, Zen, and myself are exploring ways to bring all of our engagement platforms under one roof, but it's to enroll in BC 101, How We Change the World. The course is free, and it's designed to let you know what's on the menu. So if you're in Southern California and you've tapped in, your discovery phase, and again, Robert, Zen, and myself are working on a way to bring this all together, but your space right now is WhatsApp. That's how you find out what's on the menu for Bridge City, Southern California. The whole purpose of this discovery phase is to discover your point of engagement. Your point of engagement will define your experience in the moment. If your point of engagement is he has a lot of numbers, then your experience will likely be shallow. You're going to have a really hard time finding something on the menu. You're going to have a hard time looking for something to put on your plate. But if your point of engagement is personal growth, if it's community development, or if it's global progress, then your experience will be substantial. You're gonna have a really hard time keeping stuff off your plate, and an even harder time not adding other stuff to the menu prematurely. Which means that we're shifting from engagement to interest, actual interest. Our Southern California group is starting to make this transition now, and it's absolutely fascinating to watch in real time. Because 3 months ago, there was no such thing as Bridge City SoCal. It wasn't a thing. It was just pins on a map with no names, nameless pins on a map that were just people in a live or under a video who said, hey, I live in such and such. And then after every video, I did this. After every video, I would do this shit by my damn self. After every video, I'd go grab those names and plug them onto my map. Or not those names, sorry. I go grab those locations and plug them onto my map. You know, we didn't start getting names, which the names are not on the map, by the way, but we didn't start getting names until I started doing the tap in forms. When I started asking people to tap in for a local community, that's the point of engagement. that's when the names start flooding in. And that's when we start realizing, like, oh, snap, we have people who are in places who really want to make this happen, you know? And if you want to see that map, again, nobody's name's on it. We protect people's privacy here. But if you want to see that map of everywhere people have tapped in from, go to the website. So now there's a little bit over a dozen people in the local group in Southern California who engage in weekly conversations, just trying to figure out just exactly what's on the menu. And a small handful of those have now not only identified what they like about the menu, but also what they want to help cook. So that's when you know you're interested. When you start asking questions like, how is that made? What comes with that? See, I call this the learning phase. We've shifted from what's on the menu to what works for me. In truth, you won't have the right questions to ask until you've allowed yourself the space of discovery. Like, imagine going into a restaurant you've never been in before and trying to order without looking at the menu. You can easily imagine how frustrating of an experience that would be for you and the staff. You're not even going to look at the menu. You're just going to guess what they got. You know, yet that's how so many of us approach life. You're ordering your entire hopes, dreams, passions, desires, and understandings about life without ever even looking at the menu. And you wonder why life is treating you like, ma'am, this is a Taco Bell. You see what I'm saying? Like, you ordering filet mignon and trying to get some spaghetti. You know what I'm saying? You asking for the vegan section. And they're like, ma'am, this is a Taco Bell. That's what life is treating you like right now, because you are ordering your whole life around things without even looking at the menu. No, open that menu, baby. Spend some time with it. And it will empower your questions. You'll have a smoother experience. Oh, I see you have the, is that the chicken marsala? Can you tell me how that's prepared? Are there any chives in the loaded potato soup? When you look at the menu, you know what questions to ask. Yes, how do you cook your steak here? See, this is where learning takes place and interest is verified. You're now asking very targeted questions because it's about how does this work with you? So let's use Bridge City Global. 3 featured categories on our menu. If you're at the restaurant of Bridge City Global, 3 featured categories on our menu are the weekend experience, which is where we connect to cultivate collective clarity, community, curiosity, and care. It's what we're modeling right now. Now, this isn't the full experience because, hey, this is just me. But this isn't the full experience. It's what we're modeling right now. All right. Teams is another category on our menu, which is how we collaborate to support the community and the experience. And then groups, another amazing category on our menu, where we create space for the diverse interests, hobbies, causes, and passions of our members. Now, if you're going through the team section of our menu, you may find the campus team, who will be committed to providing an exceptional people experience, or the social arts team, who will be committed to creating uplifting songs and skits for the weekend experience, and maybe even some cool events. And you may even see the students and families teams, who would make sure that we're accessible to all age groups and are not isolating people with families. Or maybe even you see the leadership development team, who would help our members grow in their leadership skills. See, that gives you a better view of what we're trying to do, and it gives you the opportunity to identify your areas of interest, which may be many. That's when you get to ask the question, how is that made? Okay, Darante, I hear you talking about adding music to the experience. What type of songs are you looking for? What style of music? If the person asking the question is a singer or a musician, this is beyond curiosity, it's interest. Discovery is active curiosity. Learning is applied interest. And so for those who are interested and have those type of questions, I imagine some stuff like Pink, Perfect, pretty, pretty, please, don't you ever feel, stuff like that. Some Anthony Hamilton, some John Legend, and then some originals. Y'all have seen some originals, and I have us writing some stuff like that. But anyway, back to the story. Discovery is browsing the menu. See, I started salivating just thinking about the music. I love music, and it's not even just the music. It's all the creative things that we're going to be able to do, all of the creative stories that we're going to be able to tell. I mean, man, you think about it. Dances, skits, plays, full-on musicals, productions. Oh, okay. Let me come back. Learning. Okay, so discovery is browsing the menu. Learning is asking questions about the menu. It's sampling a few things on the menu. It's looking over at other people's plates as the staff goes in and out of the kitchen. It's looking, oh yeah, that smell kind of good. What's that? It's asking other customers how their food and their service was. If the purpose of discovery was to find your point of engagement, then the purpose of learning is to identify your points of interest. Engagement is it has your curiosity. You're willing to check it out every now and then and see what's new. But interest is this shit, it has your attention now. Your questions get more focused because the moment shift from what's available for everyone to what's available for me. Oh, that's so good. That's when you know you shifted to interest. Okay. When you're engaged, there are many people who are engaged. The first people who tap in are engaged. They're engaged because they think this is how this helps people. This is what's on the menu for everybody. They have a subconscious or subconscious understanding, unconscious knowing that I don't know which part of the menu I want yet, but from looking at the whole menu, I think I might want some of this, so I'm engaged. But when it has your attention, when you are interested, it's like, oh no, I like that specific thing. Now I know what's on the menu for everybody, but there's something on the menu for me. Now I get it. We connect. Damn, this is good. We connect because we do want everybody to have something. But what's going to sustain your connection is that you already knowing you already knowing what's on the menu for me. All right. So learning is often difficult. Oh, this is good. Learning is often difficult. Gee, I gotta reset my little teleprompter, but this is so good. Learning is difficult because it requires honesty. It requires honesty about what works for you and what doesn't work for you. It requires clarity. Okay. Oh, this is good. This is so good. So you begin to understand I'm focused on this now because now I realize there's something available for me. Interest is often sustained by what's in it for me. That's what makes learning difficult. You got to figure out what's in it for you. If you're afraid to ask that question, you will damn sure be afraid to answer it. No, I've gotten comfortable with the question. What do I get out of this? What's in? Okay, no, I know how it works for everybody else, but what's on here that I want? I get excited when people can articulate why they're connecting with me and what's in it for them. When people can say, man, I'm connecting with you because yes, I want to help you do this, but this is what I think I'm getting out of this. I love working with people like that because that lets me know that you've given it some real thought, that you've spent some time with the menu. In a word, that's called buy-in. See, I found something in this movement. I found something in this moment that I perceive is potentially beneficial to myself. And so I want to be an active participant, a partner, a co-owner of making it happen. Y'all better talk to me out there. See, now we're shifting from learning to development. Is this good? So we started at discovery. We shifted through learning. And do you see how we're getting all of this good encouragement, motivation, inspiration, a little bit of comedy, and there are no deities or doctrines needed. Nobody has asked you to confess your sins yet, but hold on, who knows what's going to happen next? So we've done with discovery, we've done with learning, and now where are we at? Development. All right, development. How can I make that? This is where your vision, you done got bought in now. Development works so much smoother, y'all. And I'm going to try my best not to preach right here. I'm going to try my best not to preach right here. But development works so much smoother when you go through the discovery and learning phases first. Okay. All right. This is a major reason so many people do not do well in college. I'm helping. College is not a learning environment. It is a developmental environment. I dare say that the majority of our schools are not really learning environments, as in most cases, there is a complete and utter disregard for the interest of the students. Learning is facilitated by interest. If there is no point of intersection with the interest, we're not really activating learning. And so discovery and learning now, in most cases, take place at home, and development take place at school. The children who and we kind of hit this last week too, the children who typically don't do as well in school, the children who typically fall behind, are the ones who do not have the privilege of having families at home that are giving them discovery and learning opportunities. Oh, we talked about this last week. Yeah. So discovery and learning are personal, private, and preference based. Oh, this is so good. Discovery and learning are personal, private, and preference based. Development is nearly always for the service, support, or satisfaction of others in connection with self-interest. But that self-interest has to be sustained and developed first. That thing has to be stoked. That thing has to be sparked. And that comes during the discovery and the learning phases, which discovery and learning has to be about me. It has to be about why I want to know it. It has to be about my curiosity. It has to be about my interest. When I go to school, I'm not learning about my curiosities in most cases. I'm not learning about my interest. One of the main purposes of having public education systems is to make sure that I fit in with everybody else. This is a developmental environment. That's the disconnect. Discovery and learning is choosing what you want to eat. Development is learning how to cook so that others can eat. And it's been probably overstated at this moment in this series, but let me remind you again that cooking is not just performative, it's productive. We're not just cooking to win a contest, we're cooking to feed the people. Interest is sustained by what's in it for me. Development is driven by what works for others. That is a whole word, okay? Interest is sustained by what's in it for me. If you're losing your interest in something, it's likely because you're no longer seeing what's in it for you. All right? So interest is sustained by what's in it for me. Development is driven by what works for others. I've watched entrepreneurs kill their businesses because they didn't know how to make the shift from learning to developing. I've watched entire churches crumble because the leadership couldn't make the transition from learning what's in it for me to developing what works for them. The lead position of all Bridge City campuses will not be a pastor. It will be a developer. My job as the lead developer of Bridge City Global is to dream of all the ways this vision, this community, and this experience works for others. I wrote an entire manifesto called Community as a Solution because I was trying to unpack and get an understanding of how this works for others. In this phase, it's no longer just about what's on the menu. It's about how do people get value. All right. Vision is about value. If your idea doesn't create value, it's a dream, not a vision. I have a vision, and vision is obsessed with what do others get from this. So we're cooking up a weekend experience, activity teams, and support groups. The question is, what value are we expecting to come from our menu and our experience? And so I highlighted 6 value adds that come from just existing together collaboratively as Bridge City Global. I highlighted 6 value adds that now when we're actually doing this thing, when we're actually working together, this is the value that people are getting from it. When people are plugged into these Sunday sessions, what's the value add? The first one is so easy: personal growth and development. That's a major value. That's one of those things like one of the things from a sociological perspective that I try to help people understand is that when you take the church structure away from people, it's not just their religious doctrines that you are taking away from them. For many people, most people who go to church are not convinced that the bullshit is true. Most people are not. Trust me, I've counseled them. People talk to their pastors. They tell us stuff, okay? So most people who are engaging those services are not there because of the doctrine or the deity. That serves as some of the icing on the cake stuff, But the real reason many people are going there is because it's a routine of personal growth. The messages aren't just about heaven. All right. The messages are about becoming their perception of a better person. And so the people who connect with church, this is so good. They're putting themselves into an after school learning program. All right. So by building community that's focused on personal growth and development, you are giving people access to after school continuing education, to continue working on themselves. And when you ask yourself, where else can they go and get that without being scammed? You'll realize why it's so valuable. Because in most cases, they're going to have to go somewhere and pay 10, 50, like some of the stuff that I share in Sunday sessions. And I'm not just saying this because I'm so great. I think Bridge City is going to produce a lot of people like this. But some of the stuff that I share in Sunday sessions, I have contemporaries. I have contemporaries who charge you about a good five of them things. Them stacks, them racks. Yeah, for that. You know, but building a community that's not necessarily based on ticket sales, you know, it allows people to get access to continuing personal development. It allows them to have access to group therapy with other folks. It allows them to have access to new learning opportunities. It also gives them access to other people, which adds to social exploration and education. It gives them access to community arts and entertainments. This is what Bridge City Global has the potential to add value in. It gives people access to professional skills and team development. It gives people something to plug into, like collective work and economics, and it becomes a core and a catalyst for sustainable change. That's the value add. That's the value add. When you understand what the value add is, you understand where your focus should be. Development is practicing the performance and improving the standards to maximize the value as you grow. Knowing how what you do or what you're working on adds value to others is a hack. You know, for some restaurants, the value add is the food. In our area, there's a restaurant called Chef Kim's. The food, man, is absolutely the value add. Okay. I will eat anything that comes out of that woman's kitchen. If I was rich, I'd be fat again because I'd hire her to cater all of my meals and I'd eat every single thing on that dang plate. Every single thing on the plate. I would. All of my kids can eat at her restaurant. All of my kids can eat her food. And I have 4 of them, and they are really picky eaters. You know? So her food is clearly the value add. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I'm thinking about that brisket. My goodness. Okay. But for other restaurants, the value add may be the ambiance, or maybe karaoke night, or maybe it's the location. Paying attention to where the value is shows you where your developmental focus should be. When I first started sharing this content on my channel, my earliest clips had music in the background. And as a former pastor in the urban church scene, it's definitely what I'm more accustomed to. It's something I prefer. I like the hype of the music in the background, you know. And I'm thinking, nobody's going to want to just sit and watch me talk like y'all doing right now. And at this time, it was just in a room, no fancy backdrop, no lighting. I was using my phone as the camera and the mic. And I was stressing myself out about finding royalty-free music to put behind my videos, while also managing my duties as a project manager for a healthcare BPO at the time. And it was a lot. Little things still take a lot of time. But after a while, after paying attention to my early subscribers, I realized that in that phase, the background music wasn't a value add. I was focusing on something, stressing myself out about something that ultimately my audience didn't even care about. I'm stressing about lighting, music, bad camera, but that wasn't the value add for my audience. The conversations were the value, the information being provided. Realizing that helped me focus on what was important. The quality of this channel will increase exponentially over the next few years, but that will be because somebody else discovered, learned, and developed to add that type of value. So the big point is that it's not just about how it's done, it's about how it helps. Which brings us to the last point. I got through these faster than I thought. God dang, look at me. Look at me. You know, some people say, look at God. I say, look at me. All right. So this next one is do. Discover, learn, develop, do. By the way, welcome to DLDD World Group. Discover, learn, develop, do. All right, do. And still kind of, we cooking in the kitchen using our metaphor. At this moment, is how does that taste? All right, we've moved from engagement, we've moved to interest, we've moved to vision, and now we're at community, how it all works together. One of the good problems that we're wrestling with as a community is that we're large and new. That makes things really awkward. All right. Sometimes you don't intuitively think that's going to be awkward to be large and new, because people just think, oh, it's 60,000 subscribers. Everything is happy. It's like, no, this is a little awkward, And just to give you the perfect kind of analogy, I think, is imagine being the new kid at school and you're a little taller and a little wider than all the other kids. It creates a polarizing effect. People don't know how to approach you. They don't know what to expect from you, because even though you're bigger than all of them, you're also new, which makes you smaller than all of them, So it's very odd. So people see 60,000 subscribers and they think, man, they must be really doing it over there. Excuse me. And then you show up to do. But doing is actually a culmination of a discovering, a learning, and a developing to do. And we often take that for granted. Like right now, I could sit at my keyboard and I can play something. I can do something. I can play something. I can do that. But when I first started learning how to play, when I was 11 years old, I could not do that. I could sit at it and stare at those keys all day long and touch as much stuff as I wanted to touch. Music was not going to be the sound you were hearing, because the thing that we take for granted is that nobody just does. Doing is a culmination of discovering, of learning, and of developing. So watch this. If you're finding yourself struggling to do, it's likely because there's somewhere that you have not discovered, somewhere that you have not learned, and somewhere that you have not developed. Ooh. Because for the most part, what we do now, we've already gone through those phases, so doing just feels natural. When I play at the keyboard, when I go sit at my keyboard now, I do not have the struggle I had when I first started learning how to play the keys. When I sit down to computer program or build an app, I do not have the struggle that I had when I first sat down, because my doing now is the product of discovering, of learning, and developing. That's what it empowers me to do. So then you show up to something new and you're expecting yourself to do, but finding yourself unable to deliver, not knowing where to start, not being able to land a question, not being able to follow through on a task. And if you're not careful, you'll think it's because you don't have what it takes. When I was a kid, I enjoyed playing Mario Brothers. Like, I love, man, and maybe it was the music. I think I loved the music. I don't know why I'm doing this with it, because that's probably not what that instrument is. And if it was, it would need to be over here. But anyway, but I loved it. Loved the Mario games. Almost all of them. I think almost every stage I was memorizing those soundtracks, because they were so cool to me. Like the blue stages. And I remember one time, no lie, okay, I'm just gonna geek out for a moment. This is me, musician, preacher, speaker. I was so infatuated with television songs and television music that I really wanted my band at my old church to learn how to build the Mario Brothers into like a little praise break or something, the mentor I mentioned earlier that died in a scandal was Bishop Eddie Long. I really love the style of his musicians. that cinematic approach was amazing to me. But just want to be up there doing my thing, and then dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't y'all do that. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay, anyway, that's just me. That's me geeking out. But anyway, I'm supposed to be tell y'all about Mario. Okay, tell y'all about Mario. All right. So we were too poor to have a console, but I would play at friends' houses whose parents would steal one. And I remember playing stage 1 and getting to the first big hole to jump over, and dying, So as a young kid, I tried to do everything I could to avoid that hole from then on out. So on my second round, I discovered that I could take one of those little green pipes, and I don't even know if they're pipes. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I was going to call it a tunnel, and I was like, I don't know why I'd look at that and call it a tunnel, but we're just going to call it a green pipe. I don't know why they have these pipes out of the ground everywhere, but I realized if I took one of the green pipes, I could skip the jump, And so I thought I had found the key, man. Like I don't found the hat now. But then I get to the blue stage, and I'd end up dying so many times that I'd have to start over. Like you only get 3 lives, so I have to start over before being able to figure it out. So one day on stage 1, I accidentally passed the tunnel, and it wouldn't let me go back because that's when once you get there, you can't go back. So I had to face that damn hole. And as I prepared to jump, I hit my head on the invisible box holding the green mushroom of an extra fucking life. Oh, I got that extra life, used the box to jump over the hole. I was then able to complete the stage with an additional life and additional information about the gameplay itself that I had been robbing myself of by skipping the process. You see how that goes? I was robbing myself of an extra life and actual additional information. So discovering, learning, developing, and then doing gives you a better picture of how it all works together. When you allow yourself to go through this type of process, it transforms a major part of your identity. The question, how can I help, gets answered by you. It becomes a leading aura about you. When you're in conversations with people, you're already thinking, oh, this is how I can help them. Oh, this is how I can bring value to their life. You're leading with, hi, my name is Darante, and this is how I help people. Hi, I'm such and such. Here's how I can help. This is what I can do for Grid City Global. This is what I enjoy. Oh, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm willing to do. Living in that type of posture elevates you and others while ensuring that your help identity is self-assigned. Thank you all so much for joining Sunday Sessions. Again, I cannot help but to feel so good on these Sundays, man. And as a former pastor, it's so odd because it's not something I didn't think I'd ever get these moments back, and I'm gonna try not to tear up, but I didn't think I'd ever get these moments back. I didn't think I'd ever get to be actually useful in this way. So for all of you who support this audacious vision, I appreciate you so much because it's because of you that I don't have to completely abandon the thing that I've given my life to, and that's building community that helps elevate people. So every Sunday that I get to be here and share these moments with you all and have these conversations, I'm living a dream. And I really cannot wait to see what happens next. I do hope that these conversations has cultivated some insight and some inspiration for you in your journey. Make sure you connect with someone before leaving because your relationships are the strength of this movement and community. Let's keep showing the world that we can provide inspiration, motivation, support, and even transformation without superstition or coercion. We don't have to control anybody to do anything. You don't have to force anybody to do anything. We can create environments where people can find themselves and assign and determine for themselves how they want to help, how they want to plug in, what they want to do with their lives. And that's how we get the best version of them, by creating that environment for them to do so. Also, of course, join us next week as we get ready to close this thing out, man. And explore the links in the description to find ways to connect. including y'all are going to hear me plug this so much, joining BC Global by enrolling in BC 101. You can also join my email list to stay updated on what I'm doing with DLDD World Group, or of course, financially support the channel, the content, the community, or the creator. That's me. Y'all know me. You can support through Patreon, YouTube, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or purchasing something from Windows Shop if you want to get some bang for your buck. If you're looking for a way to support, I have definitely done everything that I could do to make it as easy for you as possible. And I'm still looking for ways to make it even easier, because remember, that's what development does. And my job for Bridge City is I'm a developer. So my job is to figure out ways to make it work for people, right? All right, so that's all for today, man. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you continue enjoying the rest of your day. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Someone asked earlier in the chat, if you're in other states, how can you help? Make sure you go to our website, go to that tap in link and tap in. If you put lead or host, make sure you are checking those emails, because I'm going to be sending out emails to let you know exactly some exact ways that you can help, or to at least get you plugged in with people who are already helping, like our team in Southern California, so you can get a window in doing some of the things that they're doing. To give a little insight, and I'll get ready to close it here. I'm gonna highlight Robert real quick. Robert is our primary host in the Southern California area. He tapped in, other people tapped in. He was responding to the emails. He was one of the few. A lot of people tap in. A lot of people don't respond to the email, but he was responding to the emails, and then he and I started corresponding, because that's where that builds. That's where that relationship builds. I'll have some people they'll reach out to me outside of that, and I'm like, nope. I need you to go through that menu. Otherwise, you don't even know how the conversation to have with me. So Robert tapped in. Robert joined Bridge City 101. Robert was responding to emails. And then he and I started talking personally. And then I asked him, I said, hey, well, since you have tapped in as a host in this area, would you be willing, because we have so many people in this area who have also expressed interest in being a part of something like this, would you be willing to go ahead and start reaching out to those people and building relationship? And the answer was yes. And so that's why if you tap in and you put lead or host, that's the type of stuff that I'd be expecting you to do. And then the next thing was, if you're wanting me to come, we just got to make a way for it to happen. And Robert has been absolutely amazing in doing that for us, in the sense that he made a way for it to happen. So that's how that's happened. So there are plenty of things you can do. Tap in and respond to those emails. All right. I think that's officially all I have for now. Definitely if you're in the Southern California area, join us in October. That's going to be the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. And registration will be opening for the ticket events this week. All right. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.